Every genius entrepreneur has an eccentric vision. So they're possibilitarians. They are the people who said, well, here's the way the industry has always been, and here's the way the status quo is, but here's what we're gonna do. What's coming to the top of my mind right now as I record this is Uber. So you've got Travis Kalanick, and literally through that single app, they don't own any taxis, they don't own any cars, they don't really have any inventory, but through that single app, Uber disrupted the entire industry of that level of transportation. And so, these people, these genius entrepreneurs come up with a ridiculously disruptive idea that is absolutely eccentric in its vision. And that's why people call them crazy. And I'll simply say to you, if your vision is not routinely called crazy, then perhaps your vision isn't big enough and disruptive enough. And we change the world when we change the game. Bono is sharing the story that I believe he heard, and it was the person walks inside Kanye West's living room, surveys the living room, and cannot believe what's on one wall of Kanye West's living room. And it's this giant poster of Kanye West. And so the person who's in the living room goes, Kanye, it's a beautiful living room, but why do you have this massive poster of yourself in your own living room? And Kanye replies, well, if I don't believe in myself, no one's going to believe in me. And my take on that insight is simply this. No one's going to believe in your lofty vision. No one is going to embrace and enroll in your mighty mission if you don't viscerally believe in it. No one's going to believe in you unless you believe in you. And Kanye, in many ways is a disruptor in his field. And Kanye, in many ways, is playing at mastery in terms of his craft. But that's coming from this incredible self-belief. And yes, I understand some people will say he's arrogant, and I in no way am encouraging anyone to be arrogant or vain. But the larger point for you and I, as people on the rise to mastery and creating lives that are legendary, is to really dial in on that insight, which is, we really do have to have the confidence to believe in ourselves, because a lot of time as a leader, a lot of time as a business builder, a lot of time as a craftsperson, we will be in the wilderness. We will have an idea for a business or a product where the rest of the world says that's impossible. And we have to be coming from a place from within where our I can is larger than our I can't. You absolutely must do the interior work required where you have these fiery levels of confidence where when the world is saying, I dismiss your vision, or that is impossible, you have to be that lone voice who goes, no, it is possible, and just watch me do it. You can be a history maker, or you can be liked by everyone around you. You can't be both. The very nature of living your personal greatness and doing something otherworldly in our world of ours means you're going to have to think differently from the majority. You're going to have to install the habits and routines that most people don't do. You're going to have to live, talk, breathe, walk, work, produce, create in a way that most people who are card-carrying members of the cult of mediocrity just don't buy into. When you look at most people out on the world today, and this is not judging, this is just reporting, but they're addicted to entertainment, they love gossiping, they're negative, they're toxic. Anyone who wants to do anything great, they want to bring them down, they dismiss the game changers, and they're just coasting through life. And so the very nature of you stepping up your game, living your greatest potential, owning your craft, dominating your field, and living a life that's legendary means you're going to have to leave the 5% and make a decision to live as very few people do. And what does that mean? It means you're going to be laughed at. It means you're going to be ridiculed. It means you're going to be misunderstood because leadership is a lonely sport, and it means you just might be hated. And so there is great value when people start to hate you. Because if you look at Jay-Z, I was reading his biography, and he said, I really knew that I was having influence in the popular culture when people started hating me. If you look a lot of the great authors, when their books go to #1 globally, a lot of the amateurs actually start to say, oh, that's garbage, I could put them down. I watched a documentary last night on Steve Aoki, the famous EDM, electric dance music DJ who's getting so much traction in the world right now. And he was talking about some of the comments that he sees in the social media. And it was things like garbage and, boring and amateurish music and whatever. Even though he's so skilled. I mean, you just watch the documentary called I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. And you just see the skill. And you can just look at any great athlete, and you can look at any great scientist, you can look at any great chef, you can look at any great artist, you can look at any great author, you can look at any great statesman, you can look at any world-class stateswoman. Anyone who has done something at an exceptional level breeds cynics and dismissers. So, the point is simply this: the very nature of doing something that very few people are willing to do means that the majority will laugh at you. Why? Because deep inside, they know they have the opportunity to do something great too. And all I'm suggesting to you with great love and respect is simply this: you do have a choice. You can listen to your haters, you can be one of the haters, you can join the victim herd, you can dismiss people who are doing great things, or you can reach into yourself and ask yourself this fundamental question: what do I want to stand for the rest of my life? Do I really want to rise to mastery? Do I want to get to the last hour of my last day and know that I took every ounce of the human potential I was blessed with, and through easy times and difficult times, I brought it on? And as a result of my values, my mindsets, my heart set, my habits, my routines, my disciplines, I owned my game, and I modeled possibility, and I served lots of people, and I built a great lifestyle. And now it's the last hour of my last day, and I'm surrounded by my loved ones. And even though people threw stones at me, I took those stones, and rather than being knocked down, I constructed a monument of mastery that stands as my legacy. And if you live like that, you'll be one of the great ones. You're in a restaurant, the server generally gives you what you expect or less than what you expect. You go into a clothing store, it's what you expect or less than what you expect. You do business with any organization, it's generally delivering on what you expect, but more often, even less. So you have a gorgeous opportunity to lead the field in everything that you do by doing one thing: practicing every single day, because it's a muscle, the ritual of over-delivering. Don't just give your customers what they expect, give them 10x more than what they expect. Don't just give your organization what your manager, what your boss, what the organization is expecting from you. Show something that is so rare in today's economy: initiative. Initiative. So you're asked to do a project, give them 5 more things than they expect. You're asked to give a presentation on something, go the extra mile. Consistently dial in the daily habit of over-delivering on people's expectations, and guess what? You become a merchant of wow. You become indispensable to your organization. I wrote a book a little while ago called The Greatness Guide, and one of the chapters talked about the importance of being indispensable. And I learned that when I was a young lawyer. And I remember talking to my mentor. And I asked my mentor, the top litigator at this firm, how come he is the icon of the legal profession in this region? And my mentor looked at me and said, Robin, because that person is indispensable to this firm. Well, how do you do that? By practicing the ritual of over-delivering every single day for the rest of your life.